Have you felt it?
Welcome to Hitman Boxing. Hit that like and subscribe button. In the last 48 hours, Keith Thurman has blessed us with a ton of content since returning to the United States from whatever country he was in. Now, he has some choice words for Terence Crawford, and I'm not sure if I like what he's saying. He said that Terence Crawford is irrelevant at 147. Perhaps he's right about that, because Terence Crawford hasn't done anything at 147, right? But make no mistake about this, Terence Crawford had all the belts at 140. He's an undefeated fighter. Moving up to 147, he deserves a shot at a guy in the top 5, top 10 of the welterweight division. What's funny to me is you say that he needs to make himself relevant before he gets a shot at either you or one of the other champions, yet when Danny Garcia moved up from 140 to 147, you were licking your chops and you were like, you wanted to fight him next. You wanted to introduce him to the welterweight division. Do you guys remember Keith Thurman saying that? So what's the difference between Danny Garcia and Terence Crawford? Danny Garcia was undefeated when he moved up to 147. Danny Garcia has a better resume than Terence Crawford. So why were you licking your chops at Danny Garcia? But when Terence Crawford moves up, you tell him that he has to accomplish something first at 147? So it's easy for me to analyze the situation here. When it comes down to rematches, Keith Thurman would love to get Danny Garcia in a rematch, right? I wonder why. Because he knows that's an easier fight for him. He knows that Terence Crawford would be a tough fight for him. He knows Terence Crawford is that dude. Deep down inside, Keith Thurman knows Terence Crawford is that dude. And deep down inside, Keith Thurman knows that Errol Spence is that dude. But you don't want to give him his props. You don't want to give anybody their props, you know? He up on the podium talking about Errol Spence looking scared, sweating, stuttering. Because he don't want no smoke with Errol. He don't want no smoke with Terence Crawford either. At least that's what it seems. So you telling me if Terence Crawford fights Jeff Horn and wins the WBO championship, you wouldn't want to face him in a unification bout after that? Does that count as him doing something by winning the WBO championship? I'm just curious, because I'm trying to figure out where Keith Thurman's thought process is. Of course, and I'm going to be realistic this video. His next fight back, which will be in February, maybe March, possibly even later, because if you recall, the tweet from PBC said that he would be fighting in January, and now it's been pushed back. So, again, we getting Keith delayed Thurman again. All right? So, we don't expect you to fight Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, Sean Porter in your first fight back. I realize you have to, feel out that surgically repaired elbow. You have to see how your punches feel, how the snap is in your punches, right? You gotta check that out first. Then you probably are gonna want to take an intermediate fight after that. I think Jesse Vargas is trying to fight Keith Thurman at some point, but assuming that Keith Thurman fights 3 times in 2018, which I really doubt that he will, there's talk of the third fight potentially being a unification bout with one of the other champions. Now, could Keith Thurman potentially face Terence Crawford if Terence Crawford has the WBO championship? Maybe. But we do know that Terence Crawford is working with Top Rank and Bob Arum, right? While Keith Thurman is over on Showtime with Al Heyman. And for the two of these sides to make a fight, there's got to be a lot of money involved. Is there a lot of money when it comes to Keith Thurman? Is he a big name? Is Keith Thurman really a huge name in boxing right now? I would say no, he's not. He's not even making $3 million, is he? No, he's not. But make no mistake about it, Keith Thurman is a tough fighter. He is an A-level fighter. He is the A side when it comes to the welterweight division, right? So a fight between him and Terence Crawford, I mean, does it make a lot of sense? Does it sell well? Does it make a lot of money? I don't think so. Is it a pay-per-view caliber fight? Absolutely. But again, Keith Thurman, you know, this is what I'm talking about with these PBC guys, man. The promotion sucks. It's terrible. Keith Thurman is a very he's a very well-spoken guy. He's an undefeated fighter. He's an exciting fighter to watch. There's no reason why Keith Thurman shouldn't be bigger than what he is right now, right? But why isn't he a bigger name? Because of lack of promotion, because of inactivity, because of faking injuries. This is why Keith Thurman's not a bigger name. This is why he's not a household name. Go down the street and ask 10 people who Keith Thurman is. You know what the results are going to be. Now, Terence Crawford, he's kind of in the same boat. He's been on pay-per-view before, but you know, he's not a very outspoken guy. He's very quiet. Promoted by Bob Arum. I don't know. I don't know what's up with American fighters and promotion. We're never going to see another American fighter reach the status of a Floyd Mayweather. At least I don't think. There's room for that to happen, but it's just unlikely in my opinion. Now, Keith Thurman versus Terence Crawford. I picked Terence Crawford. I would pick Terence Crawford to beat Keith Thurman. You know, a lot of people were calling Terence Crawford pound for pound #1, and for good reason. He's got so many tools in his arsenal. I think he's about the same size as Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is a career welterweight, man. What's up with that? When you gonna move up to 154, Keith? When you gonna move up and challenge yourself? Remember he was getting beat up by Boo Boo in the amateurs? Boo Boo made you boo boo on yourself. Remember that? Anyway. Oh, and you got knocked down in the amateurs too. One time got floored. All right, this ain't a hate video. I'm just saying. Keith Thurman really seems like he's trying to duck Terence Crawford, and it seems like he's trying to duck Errol Spence. Because what's going to happen is, near the end of 2018, we're still going to be talking about this. We're going to be like, oh, Keith Thurman's already had his 2 tune-up fights. He's looked great. Why isn't he trying to unify? You know, he keeps backpedaling in these interviews, talking about he remembered a time when he was telling Spence that he was going to be a big name. And, you know, just stop with all that, all right? Stop deflecting, dude. All this time while Spence is grilling you, you got nothing but awkward stuff to say. I don't get it. Keith Thurman used to be a killer, man. But now he say he's not hungry no more. He's not as hungry as Errol Spence. You're not hungry. Why you gain so much weight then? I don't know, man. Keith Thurman, he's a good fighter, man, and he very well could be the best fighter at 147, but, you know, we need to see some of these unification bouts, and, I mean, only time will tell. I doubt if we get one in 2018. I think beginning of 2019 is when he'll be forced to take a tough fight, another tough fight. Keep in mind, he did fight Sean Porter and Danny Garcia back-to-back, but, you know, that's not my fault. It's not my fault she was faking injuries and tried to do everything you could to avoid fighting Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? No more easy fights for Keith Thurman. I'm sorry. I don't want any more easy fights for this guy. In fact, who is his next opponent supposed to be? It hasn't even been announced yet. I'm thinking Jesse Vargas. Is he still with Top Rank? I don't know if Jesse Vargas is still with Top Rank. I've heard some rumblings that he's been having issues with Bob Arum. So, I mean, that's a potential fight if he's not with Top Rank. I mean, it's a decent fight, I guess. But, you know, Jesse Vargas is he's taller, rangy. So, I don't know. It'd be an interesting fight. I would pick Keith Thurman to beat him. But, I mean, that's still a good name to put on your resume, you know. But time will tell, like I said. We'll see if Keith Thurman decides to step up and take a unification bout with, you know, one of these guys. It's safe to say that Jeff Horn will probably be facing Terence Crawford in the near future. And, you know, I picked Terence Crawford to beat your boy Jeff Horn. So, and then, low key, y'all need to start watching Errol Spence. He's been saying some questionable things too, man. He talking about, you know, if the money makes sense this and if the money makes sense that. Those are signs that you about to start ducking. I'm sorry, but those are signs that you about to start ducking. Because they asked you about Jeff Horn, and you said you probably wouldn't go over to Australia because you're the A side. But it's a unification bout. Why not go to Australia? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. We're going to be watching Errol Spence closely too, because he's been making, like I said, he's been saying some questionable things in the media. Hitman Boxing, drop a comment, like the video, subscribe.